It's such a great pleasure to speak in a place, in a room, in a hotel, which is like my kind of a place, but among audience, which is not my kind of people, because they're all doctors, and I'm not doctor. I'm possibly the only non-doctor in the entire two days, if I'm wrong, I'm right. So, a big thank you to the Netralayam and BB Eye Foundation VIP, Dr. Sourav Sinha, Rupok, and all my dear friends here for giving this opportunity for me to come and speak. I hope that I can entertain you for the next few minutes, a little bit. And I'm not going to talk about eyes. Of course, I'm going to talk about eyes, but not the medical part. Are you okay with me? Some other part of the vision, apart from the eye vision, which is in the mind. So I start off like that, as Shubham told me. I'll just have a very brief about what I say my story in the forum. So I am basically a below average student in school. I started off with an fantastic 572 marks in Madhyamik, which we celebrated with, we went to a bar and celebrated with some beer, the first beer of my life. And then I studied in a school called South Point, which is very dear to my heart even now. And we learned a lot in the school, because that's a very value-oriented school. And then I went to St. Xavier's College. I did my CA, and the problem was that I became CA when I was not even 23. So in a place like Calcutta, where you are a Bengali and you are a CA and you don't want to work for anyone else, so you need to do a lot of things. So in fact, when I was in the class 11 and 12, when I was in the college, I actually did a lot of small business, and I'm going to talk about enterprise and entrepreneurship and how it can really be the only way forward for Bengal and India. So when I was in the class 11, 12, and in the college, I remember my first business was that when I sold some a smuggled Casio watches. They used to come in boxes that time, you know. For those senior people, you know, there was a building called Mehta building. And they used to sell boxes of Casio watches. It used to cost about 60 rupees at that time. Very good looking, first time digital watch in India. If you have one, if you can remember, there was a button on the right which will put a light on the left which will put a date on, right? Remember? The Casio. And that was my first business. I used to buy from there at 50 rupees or 60 rupees and buy and sell at 200 rupees. Sell to whom? Sell to my father's friend, to my friend's father, and everyone else. So I started pretty young when I was actually in entrepreneurship. I mean, even without understanding that this is a business. Because coming from a very conservative background, my father was in the health company for throughout life called Distillery Pharmaceutical Works Limited. That incidentally created also manufactured one of the eye drop called Lokula. And so I was like in a very brought up in a conservative, typical Bengali, chakri korte hobe, you need a job. And the problem became actually even more when I became a CA. And all my friends got very plum jobs in PSU and all. But my problem was that I was 23-year-old, I wanted to work for myself, I wanted to become an auditor, I wanted to become a practicing chartered accountant like a lot of doctors out here we have got. I wanted to be successful, very successful, very, very successful. So after 2 years of very, very unsuccessful stint as a chartered accountant, I thought that I can't do much about it. So I started what I think most of the Bengalis do. I started teaching people. So I created Calcutta's first ever Teachers Bureau. For those who know Teachers Bureau, Bengalis always wanted at my time people to come and teach in their home tuitions, right? Private tutor, IIHM. But you don't know whom you can get. I've got a daughter, she wants tuition in maths and physics, class 8, 9, 3 days in a week. But the teacher has to come to my house and teach, right? Very, very different from today. And I don't know how to get it. So I gave the solution to that problem in Bengal. I started this first ever Teachers Bureau in Calcutta, way back in 1988-89. And I used to give advertisement in the very famous newspaper called Statesman. If you remember all these, the Statesman, the classified columns of the Statesman was the most read. Motor car, tuition, education, teachers wanted, situation vacant. And my ad used to go there. And the best thing which I did, I never charged any money from the client. I charged from the teacher. And within 3 months, in fact that was the time when Sanjukta joined me actually in business. We were not married that time. We were so successful. We gave teacher to the sons and daughters of the celebrities. Jack Mahandalmiya, full celebrity of Calcutta. We suddenly become the biggest broker, a teacher's broker of Calcutta. I remember we still used to sit in a small Hajra Road office till 8:30 and do what? Count cash with cash flushed. We have 5 guys who used to go and take money. So suddenly we are earning money. This happened for 2 years. Of course, at that time I started my institution called IIHM, which basically we are teaching all kinds of management. It was a management institution in Park Street. I'm sure the old Calcutta friends will remember called Institute of Modern Management, owned by the very famous Shushanta Mukherjee. So possibly I got the idea from there and started IIHM. And we used to do a lot of tuitions. Ashok Vishnathan, Arindam Sale, all these guys used to come and teach. And in the site we are also doing CA, because I'm a CA. That's one thing I really wanted to do. And I had a lot of tuitions at home. So now CA practice and at the Teachers Bureau. And we've been reasonably well actually. So I thought one day that I am making money, okay, but I am actually becoming Calcutta's most famous or infamous broker. How can a CA be a broker? Social esteem, zero. Nobody will also touch you in the marriage market. As such, they don't anyway. So I killed the business. One day I said, we are going to Salt Lake, where we had a friend and we got a house, etc. Shifted IIM there. And I said, Teachers Bureau, funeral, and don't believe, ladies and gentlemen, even 10 years after that day, we got calls. Please give me a teacher, please give me a teacher, please. You gave me a teacher 3 years back and he got, my son got 99%, 90%, 89%. Please help us. But in order to get into the bigger story, the bigger success, the bigger world of, business and enterprise, sometimes you need to kill certain things in your life. And looking back, I'm so happy I did it. A lot of my friends say, you are mad, pagal nahi. You were doing so well, you were earning almost 5,000 a day. On a good day. And all cash, no taxes. I'm honest with you. And I'm a CA, I know how to handle the taxes anyway. So when I started IIHM, it started as a management institution, and then I got a letter from somebody I never know from UK. Yeah, UK. In a place called Surrey, which is about on the very close to London. And they said, we want to open one hotel and catering management course, diploma in Calcutta. And they sent me a letter, one Mrs. Annie Kids, with a wrong pronunciation, wrong spelling of my name, and I ignored it. After 1 month, the letter came. At that time, there was no email, nothing, if you remember. All that royal post. And this time I took it a little serious, okay, second letter in 2 months. So I sent a fax. And they were very, very interested in hotel catering management. I'm like that, I'm actually a madman. So I said, yes, let's do it. I've never had any idea what is hotel management, what is catering management, what is diploma. You tell me about tax, you tell me about audit, tell me about finances. I know a lot, but nothing about that. But I said, let's do it. The first thing that my friend asked, and she asked, and one of my colleagues asked, who will teach this? I said, yeah, that's a problem. But we signed the MOU. I said, yeah, no problem, not very good. Signed that. So we went to the catering college in Karatala. There was a government catering college. And I don't know anybody there. So kind of like a stranger came and said, we want some teachers. I said, no, today Saturday is closed. I said, what? Saturday closed? We work 7 days a week? No, Saturday, government college 5 days. So I said, that's a good idea. So these guys are not doing anything on Saturday. These guys can come and teach on Saturday in my college. I said, okay, fine. Again connected them on Monday and got 2 of the best guys. I said, sir, this is the thing, I don't have a college, I don't have this, I have this course, we need to come and teach. So they started teaching on Saturday, extra money for them as well, and they are government workers. I don't think they were awfully greatly paid. So they were very happy, I am happy. We started IIHM Hotel School in Hajra Road, and by that time we also shifted to Salt Lake with 13 students, 1 3. In 1994 we opened IIHM, because we got into some recognition work called AICT, which is the biggest issue in the world actually at that time. And they said, you can't take more than 60 students, but we are getting 90 students, 100 students. I said, what the hell I do? So they only told me, why don't you open another college? I said, okay. So we opened another college. It's IIHM. So we started IIHM also with a reasonably small number of 35, 40, and today I must tell you that we have got 10,000 students all over the country with 14 campuses in 10 million cities, in Bangkok for 14 years, in UK, in Samarkand, and we just opened our newest campus in Singapore. So this story has got a lot of ups and downs, and more downs and more less ups. So I really, when I met Sourav actually here first time, because I had also an eye problem, and I just wanted to talk about that a little bit after this, about the care and the eye. And the entire enterprise and entrepreneurship is all about wedding dress. No. It's about firefighting every day. If it's not a service tax inspector, it's somebody else. Because at that time also ease of doing business in India was 0. It's not great now also, but it's still much better. So it's very important that we need to encourage our young people in every trade, and healthcare is possibly the most growing sector. To come and do something on enterprise, they need to be encouraged and they need to be really supported. I think one of the things that I always say that so by the way, my mission in life, or my tagline of life, and that's my tagline in my email and everywhere else, is a dare to do. So you need to dare to do and not dream. Because as the former president, Dr. Kalam also said, you dream in your sleep. And I also believe that you dream in your sleep, but you do when you are not sleeping. So I think the credo of Dare to Do really been very inspirational for my team, and it's really the team that is very important. I mean, for running any business, for running any enterprise, it's very important that we get into teams, because it's really the team that matters. Teams also needs to be led. The experience of my life has taught me, and I've been to so many countries, and I feel that Indian doctors, Indian professional, Indian hospitality guys are some of the best in the world. It's just that we need a little more of encouragement, and they don't need to be doing what the parents want. So one of the things that we do very proactively is to encourage a youngster through different platforms that I work in, both government and semi-government, is to encourage the kids and the student to choose what they want to do and not to choose what their parents want them to become. And I think this is going to be a very important point for all of us, that we should let our children do what they love to do, they want to do, and not that a doctor's son essentially has to be a doctor, or a lawyer's son essentially has to be a lawyer, or for that matter, a farmer's son don't have to be a farmer. I think India is so much blessed with talent, just that you need to put people in the right place. I think I'm going to touch on a little bit about hospitality, where I belong to for 33 years now. Don't gauge my age by saying Dr. Shivankar Homa. He looks much more older. I always tell that I got 5 double promotions to it with him. So it is really important for all of us, and it's always a great platform to speak with people like you who are all doctors, extremely respected, the highest echelon of the society. And whenever you write doctor, I'm the only doctor with a fake doctor. I'm not a doctor, but write a doctor just because I like to be with you, with all my one PhD and other honorary doctorates. But it's really great that the hospitality part of hospital is now becoming very, very important. And how we can bridge and bring, in fact, it's quite interesting, a lot of my alumni, a lot of my students, ex-students, are actually working in hospitals. And they are from the hospitality management background, they're not doctors. They don't need to be, of course. Rana Dasgupta, CEO of Apollo Hospital, he's from hotel management background, he's a hotel management graduate. Arindam was there with Columbia, hotel management graduate, and many actually. In fact, most of the hotels now have got a center of excellence for hospitality. But how do we come together? I think especially when you come for eyes, and I must say that I had a very bad eye. I was operated by Dr. Netralayam years back at the Jodh. In fact, got up yesterday. Then my very good friend Sourav Sinha, Dr. Sourav Sinha, took over the custody of my eyes, and I'm so blessed for that, and of course Rupok and everyone else. So I think it's very important that we have to be very, very futuristic. What I'm trying to say, I had long chat with Rana and everyone, even Prikha Reddy in FICCI Forum, about how we can integrate the hospitality in the hospitals. And it's so important that the entire hospital sector, the healthcare sector, the eye care sector can marry and can take a lot from hospitality. It's not just about the patients also. patients are very important. I think the clinical part is absolutely fantastic. But when I was talking with some of my friends who are doctors, most of my friends are doctors because this is from South Point, half the people are doctors. So they feel that also we need to be good listeners. We have seen some of the absolutely awesome doctors in the country don't listen. And in hospitality, you need to listen. If you go to a hotel and if you have got a bad coffee or a late breakfast in the room, you go and shout, "What about my coffee? What about breakfast? You ordered at 8. Now it's 8:22. So it's rush hour. I've got a meeting to go. Cancel. Call the manager." At drop of the hat, the client call the manager. So manager is to manage, not to manage the client. But when it comes to the hospital, the same paying client, if at least staying more than 5-star hotel possibly, if you like, you guys look much, you are much more here in sync of it. But they are not going to be treated like this. I think it's very important that we need to be good listener and we need to really have things like eye contact. A lot of my friends who are doctors have seen they look like this and talk whatever. So we need to be much more connected. I believe that hospitality can really change the face of the hospital and the healthcare. Do you agree with me, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So I think we are doing such fantastic job, especially in the COVID. We have seen how the entire healthcare as a fraternity came together, supported together, and we in the process lost so many great doctors. I think salute to the entire medical fraternity, like the resilience they have shown and the courage they have shown to come out. Not just in India, but even Indian doctors in UK, Indian doctors in USA, they have seen how they have really come up. I mean, it's incredible. I think that if we can put on that hospitality part and we can marry the hospitality and the clinical, we would be the biggest destination for the healthcare in the country. I think we talk about dietitians in the big hospital, but in the smaller places there is no dietitian. We talk about dietitians, but a dietitian can only tell you what to eat, what not to eat, this calorie. Have you ever heard of a hospital having an executive chef? No. So, a hospital needs an executive chef. And dietitian is not enough. A dietitian only will come and give you a big prescription which you can Google and find out anyway, with due respect to all the dietitians in the world. But you need a chef to come and create the food. Unfortunately, our sector, healthcare sector, do not realize that, and they are not really putting a pressure on their payroll to get an executive chef, who can be quite pricey actually. But it is going to change the entire way you look at it. It's not about a good food. It's about the right food, right hygiene, and still it can be tasty. And it's not that, especially in the eye care thing, not everybody is very emergent situation, unlike in a heart or cardiology department. So people can go and enjoy a good time also and have their operation done. So another thing is, I think, which can be easily be done, is that technology has now become, and we know a huge technology thing, and the online doctors. I think technology should be used much more than we are using right now in India. I think both hospitality and healthcare system and technology should be much more used. If there is a provision, and that's not I'm talking about even a hospital, even if you're going for any operation. I mean, a patient can even select a room, a patient can select a bed, a patient can select a diet. a lot of options can be given to them, which will make them feel very happy and take away the nervousness or any human being when they can in the operation theatre, whoever he may be, gets very nervous. For the doctor, it's just another operation, possibly important. I'm sure that each operation is very important to you, and you take fullest care for each operation. But for a patient, having the operation first time, and with that very cold operation theatre, ask me, I know, it's not the greatest experience. You need to be really, really friendly, warm, not with the blankets, but with the heart. And then immediately you make him so relaxed that he can take this big trauma. When it goes for eye, I think this is very much applicable also. Because I think among all the things that you lose, eye is one thing you won't lose. Nobody will lose. If somebody asks me, take out my arm, I'll give. Take out my leg, I'll give. Take out my eyes, I can't give. Because that is what the God has given. I think one most important part of the body that we all live and die for is eye. So I think eye surgeons, eye doctors are extremely important in our society. Especially in a country like India, where we know the statistics are not in our favor. So I think that's one thing I wanted to touch on. Sourav, have you time? 5 minutes? Okay. Thank you. I need to have 5 minutes about the success of Netralayam. So I wanted to just touch on the brand, because it's very important we understand the brand today, just like Shankar Netralayam and other great eye hospitals have become a brand. It's very important for all the doctors, and this is especially for young people. This is especially for the young people, young doctors setting up practice, setting up their own hospitals, setting up their own clinics, to understand the importance of the brand. And brand is not made only by advertisements or publicity. Brand is only created out of success and care. I think it's very important that the brand becomes so strong that the patients, your customer, your guest comes to you and respects you, and it's very important to create the brand. Now, how do we create a brand? I mean, obviously we do lectures and management classes. How do we create the brand? I think the first thing is very important, especially for the young doctors out here, is that you try to write a small book, not a book, but maybe a paper, and put a cover page. And on the cover page write a brand called me. A brand called me. So whatever you are today and what you want to become, there's a bridge, right? You understand that. What we are today and what we want to become. And when one want to become a brand, there is a process, there is a path, there is a trek. It's like trekking up on the Himalayas. And there will be more downs and ups and more ups, few ups. But you need to write your own story in advance. If you don't have the vision, it's difficult. And just one word is the mindset. It's all in the mindset. If I want to become this, it's all in my mind. It's not a dream. It's a reality. If you believe that I can become as big as Dr. X or Dr. Y, yesterday Dr. Netralayam was telling about his dream of getting Padma Shri when his boss got a Padma Shri. But then that is what I think all brand young people should think about it. It's not about Padma Shri, but it's about how you can become as successful doctors. And incidentally, being a CA, I must add, the success quotient is never written in your balance sheet. The success quotient is important. It makes you make more money, brings you more revenue, gives you more profit, because your brand becomes bigger, fatter, and more famous. So the brand is very important. Everything, even the color of the brand, everything you do in a brand should be consciously branded. Consciously, proactively branded, not reactively, but proactively, I repeat. Like at IIHM, we use a blue as a color. So whenever we go everywhere, we wear a blue. We wear an IIHM badge everywhere. We wear a tie with IIHM logos. I mean, we are all over the place. Every time I travel anywhere in the world, I always wear my IIHM t-shirt, not a Nike and Puma. Why should I wear Nike and Puma when I am at IIHM? It's very important that we all understand this, that you are doing it for you. Because you are the brand. Inside you. The brand called Me is you. And you need to write that book. The brand called Me. Otherwise, we are just passing time very, very unconsciously, but then you don't have a plan. You don't have a plan of action. There's no process. And unless there is a process, whatever passionate you are, you may be hugely passionate, but you need a process. You have the knowledge and the skill, but you don't have the process. You have the passion, but you don't have the pathways. You need to create your own pathways and create the brand called you. I think I've already there last one thing that I cannot leave without talking about the sustainable development goals. There are 17 sustainable development goals given by the United Nations. Post-COVID, especially, ladies and gentlemen, we will not survive. We will keep the world for our next generation, for our children, for our grandchildren as absolute shit if we do not embrace sustainability. We will hand over a mountain of a shit country to them. It's our not responsibility, it's our duty. And in this room, we have got highly professional, educated people. So it's for us, all of us, to embrace sustainability. There are 17 sustainable goals of the United Nations, and the entire world is moving towards that. India, slowly but surely. In the healthcare, there are 5 goals, which I like to read to you, very, very short, which I will request all of you in your organization, in your company, in your practice, try to do at least one goal. One goal. This tie which I am wearing is on all the goals of SDG actually. This is international tie. So the goals which can be easily done for the healthcare is the good health and well-being. Absolutely. We all are committed towards that. That's goal number 3. Goal number 4 is quality education. Education is a part of the learning process. Education is not something that is taught in a classroom, right? Education is something that is taught outside the classroom. I think Mahatma Gandhi told it years back that education and literacy are different things. Literacy is not the end of education, it's not even a beginning, quote unquote Mahatma Gandhi. So please don't think literacy is equal to education, it's not. So wherever you work, try to educate your juniors, your peers, your friends, your fellows, your seniors, your nurses, everybody. Because they are the people who are going to take the baton. Next is gender equality, which I think is very relevant in our country. Gender equality is so important. We need more lady doctors to come up, more and more and more. And we need more emphasis on that. The next is the reduced inequalities, which I'm sure all of you who are in India hugely through the camps. You go and do so many free operations, so already we are doing that. And number 11 goal is sustainable communities. I think it's very important that we keep our place, our clinic, our hospital sustainable. A sustainable community is we build. It's about a fraternity itself. And the last one, goal number 17, is the partnership for all goals. All goals come and work together. So that's something I think we all need to do very, very proactively. Make sure that I will pass on to Dr. Rupak and Dr. Sourav Sinha, possibly one of the papers can be distributed. I think we need to know and distribute the knowledge about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And if we do that, we leave the world with our very proud, with a lot of pride, because we leave a better world for the next generations to come, next generations to inherit, and they're your children, my children. So mind that we can leave a better world for them. So thank you so very much, Shankar, Netralayam and BB Eye Foundation here today. Thank you for calling me. And the very, very inspirational leadership of Dr. Sourav Sinha and the entire team. I think they are doing an absolutely fantastic job. And unless I say, I can't say so much like, because I am a patient. I first met Dr. Sourav Sinha as a patient through my brother-in-law, who is here, Dr. Banerjee. And we became good friends. But the kind of care, the kind of pride, the kind of passion that this team has got is possibly an example, a case study in how the healthcare can be converted into an hospitality and healthcare. So kudos to the entire team, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much. Thanks for your patience and thanks for calling me. Thank you. Thank you.
For a great hospitality career, call 98310 50,000.